We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land of which we record this podcast, the Whadjuk people of Nungabuja. We recognise their continued connection to the land and waters of this beautiful place and acknowledge that this land has never been ceded.
Step into the realm of daring ideas and transformative dialogues. This is Voices from the Edge, the podcast that pushes boundaries and ventures beyond the ordinary. Here, we confront the crucial issues that shape our world today. From the heartbeat of community challenges to the untold chronicles of leadership. From the relentless pursuit of social justice to the essential lessons in safety and lifelong learning. Voices from the Edge takes you to the crossroads of change. Because the edge is not just a boundary, it's where growth happens. It's where the real conversations begin. So lean in, be inspired, and let's explore what lies beyond the edge.
And joining us today is the amazing Amanda Amaral.
Amanda Amaral is a safety professional turned entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in high-risk industries, including oil and gas, maritime, and transport and logistics. Throughout her career, she worked hands-on at the front line, from offshore seismic vessels to logistics hubs, helping organizations reduce risk, improve training, and engage their people in safety outcomes. In 2025, she co-founded GotSafe Media, a company dedicated to transforming workplace health and safety communications into something that actually connects with people on site. Through innovative videos, tailored safety packs, and leadership messaging, Amanda helps businesses shift safety from a compliance checkbox into a culture of ownership and care. As both a safety communicator and a mom, Amanda brings a deeply human perspective to how safety messages are delivered, ensuring they resonate across every level of the workforce.
How is you say?
Amaral.
Okay. Amanda, you're from GotSafe Media, but originally from Brazil. What brought you to lovely Australia?
Oh my God, you're going way back. My origin story started in Brazil, yes. Little mining town, gold mine, Kinross mine right now, Paracatu, Minas Gerais. Grew up, did my university degree, and after that, cutting a bit shorter, I jumped on a plane and I just decided that I wanted more out of life. I came here to do environmental science management. That was my plan. I finished international relations degree and thought maybe one day I'll work for United Nations on sustainability. So I'm going to go see the world and do environmental science management postgrad. And I got to Perth and I absolutely loved it, fell in love. And in the first week, I knew I wasn't going to go back. And that's how I end up here and in Perth, and I stayed in Perth.
Yeah, excellent. I remember the first time I came over to Perth, I went, I could really live here. And then the second time I came over, I went, yeah, I still think I could really live here. And so when I got the opportunity to come over, it was like, yeah, we're doing it.
Where you from, Tom?
Originally Sydney, then Brisbane, and then everywhere else.
Yeah, that's
but only Australia, unfortunately. All right, talk to me about GotSafe Media.
GotSafe Media was born from a passion with a problem.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of health and safety communications mixed up with boring, tedious, I don't want to hear about health and safety, to I love people. Why is people hating health and safety? It's about their lives. It's about going back home safe to their families. I was working for a long time with offshore crew, and I would go on board for weeks on end, and I could see that was really a challenge with engagement, because health and safety goes two ways, yeah. It goes a bit on you got to give and you got to ask. And most of companies are just like, this is what you got to do. And that's it. Just follow the rules and get your job done. And you're not really asking for participation. And I think that what bothered me a lot. And 6 months ago, I launched. It's a startup, very new. We're still building our website and still building our systems in place. But we're embedded into Got Creative that has been running a branding and marketing agency. It's been running for 17 years. And it gives me the basis to build health and safety comms to drive engagement. And of course, I love safety, but many people don't love it. But I want to bring a bit of that flair to health and safety.
Good. Traditionally, whenever I speak to anyone about health and safety who is not health and safety field, they tell you that health and safety is boring and dry. What do you think that is?
I think it's because it's so heavily regulated. There's a lot of laws, and people in the end, they want to get the job done that they were hired and paid to do. And it has become, in certain circumstances, very difficult for them to do their job. Yeah. We're adding so much red tape where it shouldn't be. But then we see that still incidents are happening. We still see fatalities in construction. We still see things not being followed. And we do need to ask ourselves, why? What are we doing that perhaps we should try something different?
Yeah. Okay, when you do look at organisations, how they get their safety messages across, what's a common mistake that organisations make when they're actually crafting their messages to their workforce?
Common mistakes, in my experience, what I have seen is that they do one size fits all. So every time we do a one size fits everyone in an organization, depending what you're trying to do. But health and safety is very specific, and crews and frontline workers really take serious their workspace, their work environment, their equipment, what they have, and they will shut down and disconsider whatever you send that it doesn't make sense to their work environment, to what's around them. I think it's more human psychology, isn't it? What do you think, Tom?
Oh, I think if you go a one size fits all, you end up with something that doesn't fit anyone.
Exactly. That's a great way of saying.
It's a bit of doing this for this and a bit of this, and you end up with nothing for everyone. It lowers it to the lowest level of understanding. It doesn't seem fit for purpose a lot of the time.
It doesn't. Yeah, I got a good story. I went on offshore with a safety campaign that we had to run. That was always in April with a previous company, and that's that they used to run with the International Labour Organization, ILO, as well. So they run it in April. And I would come with the safety campaign and present it, get on board, let's get it done. I would have eyes rolled. I would have, this doesn't even make sense to us. What are you guys doing in the health and safety department? I'm not saying that this is done in every business out there, but those that are considering more and tailoring more to who they are presenting and their own frontline, I think they're being way more successful. And spending the time there before you go and you present a safety campaign, asking them about what they want to see before, and then you go and you present a safety campaign with their input. That's a completely different story.
Sounds like you're actually suggesting that when you go in with the safety messaging, you shouldn't go with the we know best and this is us telling you what to do, but actually talk to the people first. Is that about right?
Absolutely. What do you think? How successful are we safety professionals on that?
Oh, don't ask. I get worried sometimes. All right. Meaningful safety communications. Okay, what are they? And how do they differ from traditional messaging?
Meaningful safety communication is considering the people that are receiving is adding more meaning to our message, to what is actually matters to them, is really doing that consultation part and putting that out before you just run out of time and you got to get it done. We safety professionals are so busy doing so many different things, incident investigations, toolbox, and the list goes, reviewing procedures, updating the risk assessment, supporting frontline. And that part of meaningful safety communications comes from us being able to actually tailor that and use information, not only data, but also that frontline consultation piece to what we put out there. I believe that's how we differentiate a little bit more than the usual get it done.
Yeah. All right. Storytelling. How important how important a role does it play in improving safety culture?
Very important, isn't it? Sharing stories among the sites around safety and uncovering those key messages and those key important points in different sites is very important. I actually heard one guy from Transocean after Deepwater Horizon explosion talking in a conference about his own experience after that tragedy. And he said that he finally took the time to go on each rig and learn different stories to be able to share with the other rigs during internal audits. They completely scrapped the internal audit process and the way that they were doing, because it was a very much tick of the box exercise to actually share stories and get input from the rigs. And that was really eye-opening to me. This was like probably 3-4 years ago. I saw that video on YouTube on a conference, and I was quite impressed how there has to be a better way of us telling those stories and putting safety out there.
Yeah, good. Think there's any dangers with storytelling?
Any dangers with storytelling? Depends how much you go and what are you making it up.
Yeah.
What do you think?
The thing I think with that is the story actually has to be relevant to the audience.
100%, of course, absolutely.
I've seen generic messages and they just don't cut through. All right.
They just make it up, isn't it? Is that what you mean? You just get it. You just put one story.
Irrelevant. It is, you put it in every context, and it's like, again, it's the one size fits all, which doesn't really help.
Yes.
All right. What psychological principles do you rely on when you are looking to make safety messages resonate with the workers?
Yeah. So we fall back on the book by Timothy Clark, which is the 4 stages of psychological safety. Don't quote me, but there is learner safety, contributor safety, challenger safety, and there is another one I'm forgetting now. There is 4. And we use, when I read the book and was like, fantastic, was a light bulb moment too. We use those frameworks to base our own framework, which is RISE. R is research, I is improve, S is shape, and E is engage. So we use RISE framework to tape and review. Sometimes there is a little trust that we need to gain. So we can just, certain safety managers just need a bit of help. We can just review and upgrade safety comms. Don't need to start from scratch. And we use that framework every single time to make sure that research is pretty much based on consultation. What do they want to see? We bring safety managers, and then we ask frontline, and we ask leaders, HSRs. Do we consult with HSRs enough? What do you think? Come on.
I'm not sure. I I have a great deal of respect for safety reps, and I
Yeah.
think their part in business is greatly underutilized, unfortunately.
Absolutely, isn't it? We could do so much more with.
All right. How do you build trust? You said you had to work on establishing trust with the workers. How do you guys, as external people from the organization, work on establishing and building trust within the workers or the work?
We have to go on site. We have to be there, and it takes a bit of time to get that going. But as soon as we are on the site, talking to people, asking them questions, it's again that two-way communication. It is first every time, even as a safety professional, that I joined a new vessel, that I walked in, they always see you. You're the outsider. You're gonna tell something to the boss, or you're gonna tell something to the office, and it's not that at all. It's creating that slow relationship. Relationships are built with care, with empathy,
And with time,
with time, asking questions.
I don't know how many people I know who are, you talk to them about building trust and they think they can just go down, have a quick chat to a worker or a work group, and the trust is automatically there. And I go, no. This is built over every daily interaction you have with people. It's not a short term.
Every daily, completely agree. And this was something I used to challenge our ops manager and MD as well. If he's listening to this, he knows, because it would take time, and it's that interaction. It doesn't matter that you're doing one way this week and then you turn around and you do a different way the following week. You just break that trust, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Consistency.
Consistency, yeah, absolutely. All right. How do you measure whether your messages are actually cutting through and whether the workers are actually retaining that messaging as they move forward?
So we draft key KPIs. Don't we love those? Safety. We do, but we have to see a bit of a return, isn't it? And we ask survey. We run surveys, feedback surveys with workers to find out how did they stuck with them? How did that go? Could we do better? We do need to understand that we have different ages at the workplace. We have boomers, we have millennials, and then we have Gen Z and Gen Z that are coming into the workplace. How do we engage with them? How do we engage with the younger generation? I don't want them, growing and having that same feeling about safety. I don't know if safety for me, sometimes it can be described as a feeling too, not only as physical or psychosocial, but I guess the psychosocial is the feeling part, isn't it?
Okay. You talked about different age groups. How hard is it to tailor messages that go across the whole different age groups within the workplace?
No, you have to try different things. We have to try videos, presentations, workshops, inclusion of, again, inclusion safety. That's the fourth one. Inclusion safety. You have to try different ways of how you include different ages of the workforce and see what's going to work with them. Some are more just want to have a conversation. Others want to see the videos. Others just wants to get their job done, really. So you have to allocate and work with the safety manager again, because in the end, it's about doing business. Yeah, we're not about just hanging around and sitting down and just listening to safety all day. No, it's operations with safety.
Very good, very good. I must admit, I've never done a safety TikTok. Have you?
No, I haven't, but I'm dying to actually start. I'm dying to start on TikTok as well, because imagine if I could get Gen Z safety on TikTok. That's one of my objectives, is get on site and start interviewing them. What safety means to you? How do you do safety? And put that on TikTok.
I'll do it. I can't wait to see that, to be honest. All right. Speaking of technology, is there any emerging technology that excites you about delivering safety messages besides TikTok?
I see there are a lot of softwares already available that are doing that. I don't want to promote some of them, but we know that they are out there. They have already the training. They have already AI that you can generate. You can talk to a safety manager and generate your message and your training very targeted to that specific hazard or risk. And I see that evolving even more. Don't you think? Especially with like manual handling and those sensitive that we add as part of the bodies. That was something we were going to try when I was working for transport and logistics with warehousing.
And virtual reality.
Oh, virtual
Looks
reality.
good to me, but particularly for inductions or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Right. In the next decade, how do you see psychological engagement involving in health and safety field?
Psychological engagement involving, I see that improving, seeing that being way more present as humans become more and more important, that human side and how we use psychology and in a way that engages people with targeted message. Isn't that what marketing already does?
Absolutely.
To all of us. Why we're not using that for safety?
How do you go about balancing engagement, the fun stuff, with trying to get across compliance, messaging, and safety training?
Yeah, that's a very good question. In the end, we have to ensure that the messages are compliant, the messages that we are putting out are correct messages aligned with those guidance, procedures, with what the business has. I won't go into how work is done. Work is done versus work as imagined. That's a different side of safety that I think it's another challenge for safety professionals to match and ensure that work as imagined to work as done is as close as possible to each other, because we see that this is a real challenge out there in the on sites. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too.
Mm.
All right. How do you stay motivated when you face resistance when you first get on site, face resistance to what you're trying to achieve?
Well, many times that has occurred to me is really showing people who I truly am. It's connecting heart to heart. And I worked in male-dominated industries my whole life. Maritime crew, really, really challenging crew. And many times I haven't always said the right thing because I wanted to follow the procedure. This is how it's done. And sometimes you have to stick to yourself to get your message across. You have to stand up and really trust. But building trust and listening, asking good key questions is a key way to make sure that we can create that engagement and that trust faster than the usual. I'm not the one that knows their work, they are. It's trying to ensure that you're clear and very open about your role and their input. It's really understanding people.
Yeah. Fundamentals of all communication.
Fundamentals, absolutely.
Oh, dear. All right. Do you wish you knew what do you know now about communication and creating engaging messages that you wish you would have known when you were much younger?
Oh, when I first started in safety, I did a post on that the other day on social media. I had a safety manager. I started as a coordinator, and he was a cop. He was a safety cop. that type of person that, I thought that that's how you have to be in safety. And I learned very quickly that didn't work. We went offshore and I was told that I had to find with him 100 hazards on board the vessel. And then when we put those hazards into a system and the offshore crew got that and they had to rectify, they weren't happy. They were not part of the conversation. Let me just say, I wasn't welcome on board of that vessel ever again. I still went back. I said I was truly sorry. I would never do that again. And 9 months after that, I was promoted and the boss left. And from there on, I knew I had to lead with my own way, with my own heart. And yeah, I think, and that's how we did it. And that's how I did it over the years. It's especially challenging when you have big clients working very difficult projects, working in Asia, working in Africa, where culturally you have cultural mismatches, hierarchy ways of responding. I've seen incidents happening because of hierarchy, because people weren't, due to a hierarchy, they wouldn't stop the job. And it's, again, you really need to engage with leaders on this all the time.
Good. We all have role models. Some we might think of formally as our role models, other ones we just look up to. In terms of communication, who's your role model?
You have quite a few, actually. Probably have two growing up. I have my mum. Yeah. She was a public speaker. She passed away, so she's no longer with us. But I grew up seeing her working a lot with people as a social assistant. So she worked with marginalized, on very, very challenging neighborhoods where people really needed support. So growing up and she tagging me along and running workshops and presenting the importance of so many things, health. That was something that she was really passionate about, looking after your health and looking after yourself, and teaching also women and bringing up women to ensure they are educated. And it's a whole bunch of social assistance that she was doing. It really inspired me. And I could see that she was not talking at them. She was talking to them. She was embracing and asking and picturing a much better future than what they had. Sometimes you have to make people dream a little bit. This is what we could do. Why we're not? Why we don't try to go there instead of just stay here the way it is? Yeah, so she was definitely a very strong model for me.
Yeah, very good. All right.
Do I have any? Did I talk too much?
No, not at all. But we are getting close to the end, so I'll ask you one more question. If listeners could walk away with one principle about communication and getting messages to stick with people more effectively, would you like that to be?
Okay, repeat that again, please.
If listeners could walk away from this conversation with one principle from you about better communication, what would that be?
It would be, before you decide to put any information, any message out there, use some human principles of good communication, of just asking questions, learning what's actually important to the other person, what's important to the front line, tailoring a little bit more to your market. That's the successful recipe for business, because I'm passionate about business and I'm also passionate about people, understanding what really ticks them, what they actually care about, going back to their family, but not everyone has a family on site, waiting for them. So what actually makes them conform and comply with the requirements that we need them to comply with? We need to really think a little bit more outside of the box on that. It's harder to think that way in an overall picture than actually to just, it takes a bit of time. It takes thinking, research, it takes a framework, but walking through that framework, it really helps. So it's really considering who you're talking to and how are you putting your message out there.
Beautiful. All right. It's been lovely talking to you today, Amanda, but unfortunately that's our time has come to an end. I thank you very much for coming down and sharing your thoughts and your wisdom, but for now we'll just have to leave it there.
Thank you so much, Tom, for having me.
Thanks for listening to Voices from the Edge. If you like what we are doing, like the episode in the podcast, subscribe so you won't miss any future episodes and leave a positive review.